Hi guys. What we did in class was we talked about what crafts were. So you see, I'm in my classroom where I love to be. Kind of definition of crafts: a fine art area in which art objects, often functional, are made by hand, often made with natural media such as wood, glass, clay, and fibers. So we talked about crafts are now considered art objects. They really weren't before because they were made out of a necessity for a function. But human beings, we just are not good with just having something that we can use. We need it to look a certain way. That's called aesthetics, the way something looks, and your preferences for aesthetics. So with crafts being an art form, and with us focusing on crafts, weaving is really kind of at the core of what crafts are all about, because people have been weaving different fibers together to make baskets, to make tapestries, to make clothing to keep them warm. We have machines now that do that. So if you have a pair of jeans, if you look at those, you look real close, it is like a checkerboard pattern. So this is woven together. It's a tabby weave, over one, under one, over one, under one, and this is paper. And that's what you guys are going to start with. But weaving is just like at the core of what a lot of the craft forms really are. So if you look up here, let's see. This is an example of a Navajo loom. This is an example of a tapestry woven on a loom. These are little tapestries like what you guys are going to make. And you're going to weave these on a cardboard loom. And I showed the class my cute little example of a Navajo loom. Navajo people invented this loom that stands in the ground, and they're known for this loom. So here's a little mini example of that. And it's basically just taking fibers over and under a set of other fibers. What I want you to start getting used to is using these terms, warp and weft. Warp is the vertical element in weaving. Those are the strings that stay still. So that's these up and down. The horizontal element is the weft, W-E-F-T, and those are the fibers that you weave into the warp. So those are terms we're going to use a lot. So you may have a loom that holds your warp in place, and then you weave your weft into it. When we start weaving, we are going to weave paper pieces of weft into a stationary cut warp. Okay, and another thing that I talked about was macrame, because I'm going to give you extra credit. And if you remember, there's a way all macrame is made. The key element is tying knots. So macrame is just made from tying knots. So I'm going to have for you beads. I'm going to have hemp string. You see? Don't look at my sad nails. So macrame, it's an art form of just tying knots. So you guys are going to start with paper weaving, and I just wanted to show you while I'm up here some examples. So like I showed you this one. So those are two pieces of paper woven together. This is two copies of the same photo woven together. That's student work. This is a a page from a magazine woven together with some hand-drawn paper. So this is going to be real similar to what you guys are doing, because you are going to be weaving some of your papers that you wrote on with papers that you drew on or have color. Let's see. Not a good cameraman. Woman. These are all examples of paper weavings. The warp is cut creatively, so the gray paper is cut creatively. And then the black strips, which are weft, were woven into it. These are all examples of creative warp. So the warp is cut creatively on these, but the weft is cut in straight strips and woven into those. So you can email Miss Ward to come up. I have lots of construction paper, and then I have other supplies for you, scissors and glue. So you definitely need scissors to do this. And then you are going, and hopefully some kind of color medium. So markers, watercolor, colored pencils, crayons, any of that would be great if you had. But to start your paper weaving, you are going to start with your own papers that you already made. So we can use the ones that you made about expressing a mood. But I definitely want to use the papers where you wrote about getting to know you, because your paper weaving is going to serve as kind of like a self-portrait. Okay, so see if you can remember next time I see you. Warp is the vertical element in weaving. Weft is the horizontal element in weaving. Any device that you weave on is called a loom, and macrame is made from tying knots. Okay, that's it. And I'll see you in class.